Whether it's finding the Elon Musk rocket car prototype and taking it for a spin across the bridge, or ruthlessly kicking Marge up the street for 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's go, Marge!
Everyone has special memories playing the Simpsons Hit and Run for the first time, with fans hailing this as the best Simpsons game of all time and begging for a remaster or remake of some sort. But why is the Simpsons Hit and Run so beloved? What makes it so special? Well, on top of it being a really good game in its own right, to fully understand why the Simpsons Hit and Run has stood the test of time and is still beloved by so many, you first have to look at what the world was like when it was released. Even though the era of Simpsons mania from the 90s had all but passed, in the early 2000s The Simpsons was still a juggernaut in pop culture. Everything ranging from the show itself to other shows parodying it, merchandise and of course games, it was everywhere, unavoidable. You could show a picture of Homer Simpson to practically anyone and they would recognise the character. So when Hit and Run released in 2003, it was no shock that it sold as well as it did. A lot of comparisons were made with its predecessor Road Rage to Sega's Crazy Taxi, and rightfully so. You can't deny that the creators took more than enough inspiration to the point it was literally Crazy Taxi but Simpsons inspired. Sega, seeing this comparison, quickly took action and filed a lawsuit against the developers of Road Rage, Radical Entertainment. And what did the developer Radical Entertainment do in response to making the sequel to Road Rage? Pretty much do the exact same thing but replace Sega's Crazy Taxi to Rockstar's GTA series. Whilst not as much of a carbon copy of GTA like Road Rage was to Crazy Taxi, since you can't re-inhale in Springfield with an AK-47 or obtain sexual favours from the citizens of Springfield, it did share a few qualities though, including an open world gameplay style where you seek out main missions and optional side missions, also with more secrets hidden within its open world defined. For a lot of people growing up in the 2000s, we weren't allowed GTA as kids. In fact, I remember going to my cousin's house as a kid and remember seeing him playing San Andreas, and as much as I wanted it for myself, I couldn't get it with it being a very adult game, so for a lot of us, Simpsons Hit and Run was our GTA. So in turn, a lot of nostalgia and genuine fondness is what attributes to why Hit and Run is still remembered so fondly. But is that solely the reason for it being beloved? Just nostalgia alone? Or is this game actually a masterpiece? Well, yeah and no. While I wouldn't exactly refer to Hit and Run as a masterpiece by any means, it's definitely a good game, especially if you're already a fan of the series. Since this game offers a lot of fan service to the players with plentiful gags placed throughout the game, and just being able to explore the world of Springfield at your own leisure. The overall map takes place in 3 separate smaller locations, with there being 7 levels in total where you have the chance to play as 5 iconic characters from the show. That being 2 levels given to both Bart and Homer, and 1 level for Marge and Lisa, and oddly enough, a level for Apu as well. The types of missions you can play in each of these levels range from tailing missions, evasion missions, crashing into a vehicle to collect items or to destroy the vehicle, races, and even a few on-foot missions where a car isn't required. While this is a fine gameplay loop, problems start to arise towards the latter half of the game where you see a lot of the same mission structures repeated over and over again and begin to grow stale after a while. Also, Hit and Run's difficulty isn't much of a challenge either, with a majority of the game being a breeze minus a couple unexpected difficulty spikes towards the end of the game, with Set to Kill really being a standout for being a pain in the ass since you're only given such a small amount of time. I remember being stuck in this mission for so long as a kid, though I didn't actually have too much difficulty completing the mission during this playthrough. Like I touched on lightly earlier, besides your standard missions, each level also has a bonus mission, as well as that 3 types of races you can partake in. Technically there's 4 actually if you include the time trials where you gamble the coins you make throughout the game with a chance to win more coins. And on the subject of coins are important and vital to mission progression. You can find coins placed all over the world from being lined up in the streets, being in special areas, or being held inside these crate and vending machines that are scattered around the town. Then with the coins you collect, you can purchase vehicles from random vendors around the map or when needed for specific missions. There are also outfits to wear for your characters ranging from pretty cool to, well, yeah. So the story of Simpsons Hit and Run starts out like a normal episode of the series, which makes sense considering it was written by the showrunners at the time. The game starts with Homer watching TV, as Krusty the Clown advertises a new drink called Buzz Cola. After this, Homer goes off to complete day-to-day chores. When Homer gets back home, on the TV he sees that there's surveillance cameras spying on people around the town. This leads to this cutscene.
Marge, that black van is spying on us.
Oh, homie, you're so sexy when you're paranoid.
Huh? After following the vans, Homer thinks this is a plot by Mr. Burns, which it turns out it isn't.
See, Montgomery Burns, I know you're guilty. Accused! Sir?
Fine, I admit it. I had Amelia Earhart's plane shot down. That hussy was getting too big for her jumpers.
No! You're spying on Springfield with your black vans and surveillance cameras.
Black vans? Aren't they connected with some sort of Pizziola concern?
What?
Unlucky Homer. Level 2 begins with Bart wanting a video game that Marge ended up destroying in the first level. In light of this news, Bart ends up trying to find something else to occupy his time, and ends up coming across a massive robotic dinosaur, but first he needs to complete a few tasks before he can see it. After the tasks are completed, he returns to Professor Frank, I don't really know how you say it, and then this cutscene plays. In the cutscene, Bart gets attacked by the mechanical monster but ends up escaping, but just as he thought he was safe, this happens. With the story now fully kicked off, the third level starts out with Lisa trying to find Bart. After asking a lot of people if they've seen Bart trying to track down where he would have went, and this search ends with Lisa finding the sailor guy who tells her that Bart is aboard a boat. Upon finding him, it turns out Bart is brainwashed and is speaking in riddles.
Bart, how old are you? What's your favorite catchphrase?
Kiss my
Going into level 4, Bart's still speaking in riddles and Marge goes out to try and find help. After asking Chief Wiggum for help, which is no use, and for some reason collecting ketchup with Cletus, she then questions Grandpa Simpson to see if he can help out in any way, but his meds have been stolen and he's just as cuckoo as Bart. After presumably beating up some children, Marge returns to Grandpa after medication and this cutscene plays out.
It was so long ago that I'll have to describe it in sepia tone. Well, as I recall, it was sort of a cosmic kind of thing, shaped kind of like a planet with an old-fashioned radio antenna coming off it.
A planet with an antenna? That sounds awfully familiar. I think it was at the Quickie Mart. That's it. It was on a bottle of pop. Maybe that will jog Bart's memory.
In light of what Marge has found out, she returns to Bart.
Bart, do you recognize this design?
That's the alien mind control cola. They gave us tons of that up in the alien spaceship. They're using it to make the town go crazy. Oh,
After some cola hunting and an act of domestic terrorism, level 4 ends. Going into level 5, Apu feels bad for selling tainted cola and decides he wants to get to the bottom of what's going on. Taking a break from saving Springfield, Apu gets an emergency from Dr. Hibbert saying that his kids are shitting all over the place. What comes up next is a sequence that not even Rockstar would have the balls to do. Apu attempts to run a car off the road that has about a dozen infant babies in it.
That's some cold shit.
After a costume change and some community service and a trip to the museum, this happens.
I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually excited to be going to a museum.
Yeah, this cutscene's too long. To sum it up, aliens. I'm going to try and be more brief about the rest of the game because I don't want to be sitting here all day, but yeah, level 6. On the cusp of an alien takeover, Bart deems it fit to ask an alcoholic clown for help. Oh yeah, I forgot to state in the last cutscene that the aliens have a plan to take over the world.
I like it.
Bart spends this entire mission trying to convince people that aliens are real and they really are invading Earth. This mission. I really fucking hate this mission. Bart then asks Homer for help, who obliges, and then the mission ends with a race. Cutscene time.
Man, that sounds cool. I mean, oh no, I hope their plan fails. Who am I kidding? Zombies eating brains? Oh, this is gonna rock.
Here we go, home stretch, last level. Level 7. The alien invasion has begun and Homer's out getting supplies to help fend off the zombies. This whole preparing for the apocalypse thing is dropped almost immediately in favour for 4 missions pretty much repeated over and over again. We find out we can destroy the alien spaceship using toxic waste, and after sacrificing Professor Frank, we go to Mr. Burns.
Damn it.
Anyway, we end up getting the toxic waste from Mr. Burns and go and blow it up again. We then yet again do the same thing again, this time with Snake, and one more time to bring it home with Grandpa. Ah shit.
I smell toad!
Holy shit! Did Grandpa just die?
Space wads! Imagine that, scared of some harmless nuclear waste. So very harmless. Oh, cut your fingernails!
That fortune teller was right. I do end up dying in a spaceship crash.
And that's the Simpsons Hit and Run story. Mediocre by classic standards, masterpiece by modern Simpsons standards. So with all that said, if I were to give Hit and Run a rating out of 10, it would be somewhere in the range of 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Taking both how it feels to play today and the lasting impact it had on me as a child. Yeah, the on-foot gameplay isn't the best, in fact I'd say it's pretty poor and it sucks when you're not in a vehicle, and yeah, mission designs can be repeated and it leaves a lot to be desired, but there's enough character and charm and fan service I think to get the game across the finish line. Also, just a little thing to mention, for a 2003 licensed TV show video game, the driving handle's pretty damn smooth even compared to some newer games today. So yeah, while it isn't perfect and it's not going to have the lasting impact that something like Ocarina of Time, Half-Life or Halo had, I still think The Simpsons Hit and Run stands tall as a game worthy of your time. So remaster/remake? When? Pretty please? Just a little thing to mention before I conclude this video, the game also offered a niche little local multiplayer mode where you can race your friends or family around cool little tracks for both third person view and top down view, which is actually pretty cool. The race levels are obtainable by collecting the various hidden cards around the map as a cool bonus. So what did you think of Simpsons Hit and Run? Did you also kick Marge around like a football on first playthrough, or are you not a psychopath? Did you play this as a kid and have fond memories? If so, leave your experience down below in the comments. If you don't have memories of the game, would you consider checking it out? Would you like to see this game get a remaster or a remake? If you would like to see more content like this, subscribing is always appreciated. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like on your way out. Thank you all for watching, have fun, stay safe, and see you later.